So everyone is like in this video. So I just want to say that when it comes to coding, so everything is about. So hopefully we'll be talking about more best of the things, but I think the story is the first thing to how does your brain needs to So hi guys, and welcome to this video. So in this video I'm going to teach you all about APIs. So I'm going to start by explaining you what is an API, and then how can you just create a basic API using Express.js with JavaScript, and then in the Node.js environment, and then we'll be also using Postman for testing our application. So Postman is an app that will help you test your application. Here's the Postman logo, then go and search it from Google and then download it as well. Now let's consider you got Postman, you have VS Code, you have your VS Code, and then you have Postman, you have your Node.js installed, and then we're going to get started in every single step, getting you as a complete beginner. So I would be starting everything from scratch. So first of all, you may be asking yourself, what is an API and how does an API work? So I'm going to just give you an example in real life. So let's consider we have a restaurant, and a restaurant is composed of two parts. So the first part is the customer who's waiting on a table, and there is a kitchen where they are cooking. So just consider the customer as someone who is coming to your website, and then consider the kitchen as the server that you were relying on. And as you know, a customer cannot come from the table and then go to the kitchen to get him his own food. So he needs someone to get that food to him. So that what we call an API in coding. So it's like a client that gets data from the server and then serve it to the customers or to the clients. So without any further ado, now let's get started. First thing, I just created a folder on my desktop, and here's the folder. And next, I just drag this folder into my VS Code, and here's the API folder. So it's not a rule that you should name it API, just give it any name that you like. Okay. Now I need to create an index.js. Now we're done. So the next step I need to go in here and just simply type npm init -y, and then I press enter. So this will help me to build a package.json, which will be like a file that explains all about my project, a package file. So here's it. So all you have is the name of my API, my application, the version, the main, which is index.js. If you do have a different, you can just change it. You're free to change it. And then we just have keywords, and you have the author. I can just change it anytime I like. And then you have the license, ISC, description, and much more. So the next thing I need now, first of all, now I can just try testing my JavaScript code. For example, I can do the console log, and then I just type welcome to the API. And I'll just run it. I will simply use node, and then I just use the name of my file, which is index.js. As you can see now, I just got the message welcome to the API, which is the message type here. But today, this is not the thing we need. But before we even go to the file, I just want to show you this thing. We need a way to track the live changes in our application. So we don't need always to be typing this command over and over again. We need to make it live, right? Okay, so and this is pretty simple. So all we need is to install a library called nodemon. So npm install, then we install nodemon. As you can see, it adds a new folder called node module. So now it's ready. So the next step we need to go through, so we need to run this application or this JavaScript app using nodemon. We do use nodemon, and then we add the index.js. Using that command, we just ensure that our application is live, and we see the live changes. Now you see welcome to the API. If I add a new line, maybe like 2 lines, I will see that in real time to just refresh and then show me the result as well. And this is the exact thing that we need. But before we even get such far, our goal is not this one. So I'm going to create an API. So just simply install, use npm install, and we install Express. Now you can see here Express is just ready in here. In your packages, every single dependency that you install will be wrote in the package. Now Express is ready. So To create new Express application, we need to do, for example, we need to just include these words. We need to do require, and then we just require the application. We say require, Express. Now it's ready. After requiring this Express.js, so we need to do the const, and we just store this Express in just in a constant. And another thing we need, so we need to just create an application, just run this Express that we just stored, because Express is like a function. Just consider this as a function, and then we do const r, and then we just run the function. And now we just try run our application to see if everything is now still smooth. So you're seeing an error that the module is not found, so meaning that there is a mistake in our code. And the thing is just so long, just simply express like this. I'm going to see if we don't get any more errors. This means that now we're just good to go. So the next thing we need to do is set where our app will be listening on. So we need to do app.listen, and app.listen we just set a port, for example the 3000, and then after we just add an action that will be happening once the server is learning. For example, we need to run a function, and for this case we're using an arrow function. If you were familiar with some normal functions, you will do something like this using the keyword function but no name, and then we just simply open up like this. Still works the same as an arrow function, but better use arrow function. And now after our server is learning, we do the console.log, and then we just log the result. For example, we just say server is learning on port 3000. That's the message we just gave. So server is running at port 3000, and that's square. Now you see we just got our result. Server is running at port 3000. And one more thing I just want to show you is that now we just start accessing our server. So to access our server, we just go here in our post one application, then we just choose new, and then we just select HTTP, and then now we just get our interface. So we simply use HTTP, and then we just use / and then we do localhost, and then the port is 3000 like this, and then we just do the send, and then see the response. Now thing we just saw the response 404, and that is totally fine. This is not an error, it's just the response. So the response says that cannot get. What does it mean? So the reason why I'm just showing this, I just want to tell you that every single that we visit using in our browser is just a get method. So it's just a get request, and now you can see here we just choose a get request, and that's why you're seeing this message cannot get. So what does this mean? So this means that we haven't defined yet our entry points of an API. So entry points, consider this as URLs of your website. For example, /home, /about, that can be entry points for the API. Okay, and hope is understood. Now let's do one. Okay, so let's make one. So we do the .get. This is a method. You can do .get, .post, .put, .delete, something like that, and then we just add in a URL, and then URL is /, which is meant that it's the root address of our application, which is this one already, and then we just assign it to an arrow function, and this arrow function to be getting the request and the response as arguments. Now I'll be showing you what this is doing exactly. So one more thing we need to do, simply response.send. We just send the response, and then we just send, for example, welcome to the API. And now we just want to send the request one more time, just see if we just get this response. Now see we get the response, welcome to the API. But it's a best practice to always return a JSON format data, not HTML like this one. So we could just simply use here response.json, and instead of returning a string, we need to return a JSON. So to return JSON, just pretty simple, something like an object, and then we just define the key, which is message, and now we just give the message, and then the message is equal to the working the API, something like that, as simple as that. Now let's send the request one more time. Now we just get the JSON format, which is the best format to just send on over the API. And guys, so this is the first step on how to create your first API load. Now we're going to create the 4 API load, which would be for the get, for the put, and for the delete, and for the post. Okay, and that is correct. So we're not going to make it complex, just simple for beginners. Okay, now we need to create a new API load. So I'm going to do the r.get, and we should consider that this API load is used to get the list of all users. For example, we do API/users, but using such API/users in order is not allowed. It's just the address where you just want to access our API. For example, you just want to access from /API/users, and that's why you're doing that thing. But if you don't have a different idea, so feel free to use your own idea. And now we just do the same thing, which is the request and the response as well. And as I told you, we don't want to make it even a really complex, just simple. So we do response.json, and then we just add in a message. So we say message, and then our message should be list of all students, list of all users. I'm sorry, it's users. And now we just want to see if we just get this message. Okay, if we just send this request, we see list of all users, right? And that is really fine. Now we just want to get a single user by his ID, which is simple for getting the API/users, then /the ID, just any ID, 12, 1, or 4, just any ID. And now we just need to copy this one, and then simply copy, and then we just paste it down here because the code's gonna look real similar. So that's why I'm just copying. And then right here we need to add a parameter. So the link parameter is the way of getting this ID. So the parameter name should be ID. So we're gonna use the colon and then the name of the parameter. And to get this parameter, we need to do, for example, we do the const ID, and then the ID is equal to the request, because the ID or the parameter is just coming from the request that the user is sending. That's why we do the request. And because we just want to send the response, we use the response. And now we do the request dot params dot ID, or dot the name of that parameter. And now in the message we're gonna return the ID. But to do that, I would simply say that getting user, the message should be, for example, we should say got user with ID, and then we just name the ID. We do just simply plus variable ID, and now we're just good to go. Let's give it a try. Okay, so now we just expecting to just get the message saying that got user with ID. If here we have 4, it's gonna be got user with ID 4. If we have 5, got user with ID 5 as well. Okay, now let's give it one more try, and now let's see the result. We say got user with ID 4. Now it's correct. If you just change it to any number, for example 4,400, and now we just got user with ID 400, and now we're just good to go. Let's move on. One more thing is just creating a post load. So the load for posting or for creating new users. So we just use the method which is known as the post. We do the user.post, and then we just give it a load, and load should be something similar to this one. We do the same thing. We do the request and the response, and this should be the request correctly, so like this. And one more thing, you should not type always type it like delete or relays. So you can type anything, but make sure, but always keep in mind that this is a request and this is a response, right? And then assign it to an arrow function, and now it's an arrow function. Then what we'll be doing, we're gonna just give the user a message, user created, just a simple message, user created. Okay, now we just simply send like user created. we say, for example, user created. Okay, as simple as that, user created. A simple message saying that the user have been created as well. Okay, so now we're done. And one thing, the method should make sure that it's a post. And now let's give it a try, one more try. So if we just try using this one, we just send the list request. We see the list of our users, but we just forget to change the method. And this is the thing I just want to show you. Now we say the message user created. So the thing I just want to show you now is that we know that when you're just creating a website, if you just from website, you know that the website, we cannot just give two different response on the same URL. For example, if it's slash home, should always give the same response. But for this time, using the API slash users twice. Now you see API slash users, and now here API slash users. And this, there's no problem with this as long as the methods are different. So it's just clarifying, because accessing it, we need to just change the method. Okay, and that's why using the same URLs. And now let's go to the next step, which is the step 2, where we're going to just do the update. And guys, so just simple as this. So we just want to say, and the update should be something similar to this one, but I'm going to show you everything step by step. So let's simply copy this one and then paste it down here, and then we just change the method. It should be put as well. And then the API, as long as we're just updating the user, we need to get the user's ID, the exact ID of the user that we just want to update. And just simple as this, we just add a parameter ID, and then we just get the ID from the response. And one more thing, the best practice to get this ID, we just want to get, for example, we just want to get an ID from liquids dot from params, and now it's ready. And one more thing, we should send a message, user with ID have been updated. User with ID, then we just insert in an ID, and the best practice to just add this variable ID. So we just want to use this type of codes, not the normal codes, and then this will just allow us to just insert in the JavaScript code or the JavaScript variable. So we simply use the $, and then the square bracket, the curly braces, and then we just add in an ID, and then as a variable from here, and then we just say user with ID have been updated, and now we're good to go. Let's give it a try. Now we just gonna give it a try, and we say, for example, we just add an ID like 12, and then we just add put, the method is put, and then let's give it a try. User with ID 12, which is the one we load here, have been updated, and now it's collect. And now one more thing, the remaining loud is the delete. And just pause this video and do this for your own, because it's just pretty simple. Okay, so let's now, from what you've done, so I'm not expecting you to do the same thing that like what I'm just going to do in here, but I'm going to show you the best practices. Okay, so let's give it a try, because the thing I want to do is just the same as this one up here, but a real difference. So we do use the app.delete as a method, and then the loud should be the same, because we still need the ID in order to delete the user. And now we just get the ID from the params. The only thing will be changing is just the message have been deleted, just as simple as this. And now we just change the method right here, and then we set it to delete, and then we just send. Now you see user with ID 12 have been deleted, and now everything just working as we expected. So now I can tell you guys that we're just now closing. If this video was interesting, so make sure you just subscribe and add a like to this video. But before we end, I just want to give you a bonus tip. So what is a bonus tip? So here's the thing, we can just send the request body. I'm going to show you how to get this body. So this is a little challenging if you're beginner, but after watching this video, you will be ready and confident. Okay, and more confident with this thing. Okay, here's the thing. So But first of all, you need to know when do you need the request body. For example, if you just want to create a new user, we just want to get the user data from the body. And if you just want to update, we just want to get the updated content from the body. And if we just want to delete, we need no body, because all we need is just an ID, and we'll be getting that from the params as well. Okay, so let's consider for this post. We just want to get the body. So to get the body is just pretty simple. We need to do, for example, const data, and then we just assign this data. We assign it to the request.body. As simple as this. Then we just send the message the user created, and then we just want to send data. And just if we just like this data like this, we all know that JSON should have a key and a value. But for this case, I'm just writing only the key. And I would probably write it like this one, but in case the key and the value shares the same name, so it's better to just write a single variable, and JavaScript will do its own things. Okay, now we just stated this collectory, and we're just expecting the result to be coming with this data that we just said. So as simple as this, we just want to change the method to post, and then this ID is not required for post, and then we just select low. We just select body, then we select low, and then we just select the JSON as a language to make sure this got JSON. And then simple as this, we just want to do our JSON data. So I just want to send some simple JSON data. For example, I just want to send the name, and one more thing, you should not use the same thing that as one I'm using right here. Just feel free to use anything, because coding is just dynamic, so there's no rules. And now the credit is a number, so my credits are 30, for example. Just an example. Now let's give it a try. We're just expecting the result to be coming with the message and the data, so just keep this in mind. And this is exactly the nature of coding. Every day you should be expecting, you should know what you are expecting, because anything when anything gets wrong, you are ready on and you know exactly where the error is. Now you see that we cannot get any response. Okay, and I'm not really sure why this is happening. So I just want to do simple as console log and log this data variable to just make sure that it's a variable, so it should be logged in here as I send the request. Okay, so let's give it one more try. Now you see there is the result or the response got 200. Okay, but the data is undefined. And why is happening? Let's explore this. So this thing I just want you to understand is that generally our API does not have an ability, or mainly HTTP does not have an ability to just transfer this JSON format, and that's why our body cannot get this JSON format data, and this is why it is always failing. But to achieve this, we need to use a body parser, or like a function or a feature that will be getting this JSON data and then converting to the string and then convert it back into the JSON, so that we can just get it in the response. Okay, that's the exact thing that we just need. Now let's get it. Okay, we need to do the app.use, and then we just use that. We use the express then .json, and now our body parser is just ready, and then it can just work anyway. Okay, let's give it one more try and see if we just get the result that we're just looking for. Now you see, we just got the result after adding this body parser. So this was the bonus step, and the next video will be creating a real API where we just pass in data and then get the response, or we just create new records, we just do the records, everything. And this was beginner friendly. If you do have a friend who need this, so make sure you just give it a share to your friends who need this. And one more thing, reminding you, so the only way to support this channel, just or to support this help that I'm just offering you, so make sure you just subscribe to the YouTube channel, call it snow, and then like this video, add your comments, as it means a lot to me. So thanks for watching.